How's it going, people? It is me, Navwalia, your favorite brown boy, the guy who is the poster child for Pillsbury Doughboy, and the host of this podcast, Quarter Life Chit Chat. And today I'm coming at you with another episode, and on this episode, I'm going to tell you the story of how my aunt blew off her eyebrows. That's right, folks. Not cut them off, not, tweeze them off, blew them off. I'm not making this shit up. I was like, you know what? I have bullied my friends on this show. It is only fair that I now bully my family members. So it's time to embarrass her. And she's going to be listening to this episode, so I can only wait for the hate message I'm going to get after. But before I get into the story, I just want to say, it's November 11 as I'm recording this episode, and holy shit, today's been such a lazy day. But as I'm recording this episode, I'm looking at myself in the camera here, and I'm not going to lie, I look so fucking crusty. I look like I haven't showered in like 20 years, and I just came out of the sewer. But at the same time, I also look hot in a rugged way. Is this what attractive people feel like out of the daily? But without further ado, I want to get into the story of my aunt blowing her fucking eyebrows off. This story takes place in the motherland, aka India. Let's travel back in time. But before I do that, here's a little bit of context. On the last episode, I talked about Diwali, and I shared a very epic story of why Diwali is a festival in the Hindu religion. And this story is a continuation of the previous episode and the continuation of the theme of Diwali. And in the most Diwali fashion, I'm going to share how my aunt blew her fucking face off. So, let's travel back in time, okay? I'm in India. I'm probably like 6 years old, and it is Diwali. And on Diwali, maybe a week before, people buy fuck ton of fireworks, because like I said, like Diwali is a beautiful festival, but it's also an environmental hate crime, because all we do after doing the prayers, we literally just light up fireworks for 3 to 4 hours nonstop. Like, I'm not joking. In my childhood growing up in India, my grandpa would buy easily, if I had to convert to Canadian dollars, like we're talking minimum $10,000 worth of fireworks, and the goal is to light it all up until as long as possible, minimum 6 hours, like non-stop, one after the other. So, and it's also very beautiful because even though the smoke is in the air, obviously, there's so much light and brightness of everything, and like, your neighbors also lighting up the fireworks. There's like all this cool, very, very nice explosions in the sky. And, for all my Canadian or even American listeners, like 4th of July fireworks or Canada fireworks, you guys think those are cool? I promise, the first time when I got to Canada in 2011, I went to Canada Day downtown, and I looked at the Canada Day fireworks. It was the most underwhelming shit of all time, and my mom looked at me after the fireworks was over, and mom's like, I think we have light up more fireworks that are better than this. And I was like, amen, sister. So that's just to get the perspective in how epic the celebration of Diwali is. And in my household, my grandpa would also cook on Diwali as like a great feast. For the family members, he usually cooked non-veg, so chicken. He would always cook chicken, goat, and lamb, and a little bit of fish. My grandma would always cook vegetarian, because my grandma was vegetarian, and so was my aunt, so she'll always cook like these great dishes. And my mom would buy fuck ton of sweets, because the last thing fucking, Indian people, and especially people in my family, needed is another risk of diabetes. On Diwali, one of the most popular fireworks my family ever bought was like this small like bomb. Okay, they come in like various sizes, and the point is this, like, that like long thread that you light on fire, and eventually it just blows up, and is a very, very fucking popular firework in like India. They're just like small bombs, which now that I'm thinking about it is probably not going to help the whole racial mirage of bomb and brown skinned people. But the point is, let's move past that racial image for a second. But that's just something a lot of people did. And they'd be like, baby bombs. And they'd be like slightly bigger ones, like for adults or something. And you basically just like put it down, light it, and it just blows up. But when it blows up, there's usually color or something in there. So the explosion always is colored. And it'll be like pink, blue, some are like magenta, multicolored, so on and so forth. And that was essentially the cool part about bombs. And my aunt goes and she lights one up, and it just doesn't blow up. And everybody's like, yo, just like don't go close to it, just knock it with a stick. And she was like, no, 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 like, I got this. And you know exactly where the fuck this is going. You know exactly where this is going. She's like, no, maybe I just need to, like, light it up a little better. So she kind of goes, and then she stands pretty much close to it, and she brings it up, like, the fire closer to it, and it just blows up in her fucking face. Luckily, it was a baby bomb, which means, like, it was really, really small. And it blows up, and she's like, and we're like, are you okay? And she's like, and she turns around. Her face is black. You know, like those Home Alone movie, like the second one, where there's kerosene in the toilet, and he dips his head when his head catches on fire, and it just blows up, and then he comes back up. His head's obviously burned, but his face is completely blacked. That looked like my aunt's face. And I was like, what? And then her eyebrows are fucking gone. They're fucking gone. And we're like, what just happened? And she's like crying, and we're like, what the hell? And I am laughing. My grandma is like worried because obviously mom thinks. My grandpa, in the most typical dad fashion, is laughing his fucking ass off. And then saying, bro, why would you do that, you idiot? And my mom's like obviously worried as shit. And I'm just like a 5-year-old. And while I'm watching this happen, just to reiterate what kind of 5-year-old was, half my family is fucking panicking because my aunt just blew her fucking face off. And I just want to say, there was no blood, no bleeding, no blisters, nothing. It was just basically her eyebrows were blown off and her face was completely black. I was sitting on the bench on the roof where we were lighting up fireworks, simply just eating fucking sweets. I had a plate full of goddamn different Indian sweets, like gulab jamun, ras malai, burfi, and I was just fucking munching on them as watching my family have a fucking meltdown. So my grandma takes her downstairs, and she's like, what the hell's fucking wrong with you? We told you not to do this, you dumb shit. And my aunt's like fucking crying. My grandma washes her face. And my aunt's like probably like 22 at that time, maybe 23. And she's like, what is wrong with you, blah, blah. And she cleans it, and she's like, where are my eyebrows? And for the next 10 days, she just, or even like a month, she never like left home because she was like, I don't want to look like Nosferatu. And since then, my grandma got really frustrated with my grandpa. So she goes back up to the roof and where all the fireworks are. She just grabs this bag of the, firework bombs, which, like I said, are very popular and very, very popular in my family. She grabs it, the whole bag. There's probably, I'm going to say, if I had to translate the money, I'm going to say there's at least like $1,000 worth of them. She grabs the whole bag and she just throws it off the fucking roof. And my grandpa's like, what is happening? And my grandma just like raises hand in the most boss bitch manner. He raises a hand up and she's like, no, you are not saying a single word. This is final till end of my life. And that was that. And my grandpa was like, okay. We never bought bombs into the house again. I just want to say firework bomb. I feel like the fucking Apple transcript is going to blacklist this episode because I'm saying bomb so much. But we didn't bring that firework anymore into the family, into the household. But since then, my aunt learned her lesson and she never really went close to fucking bombs ever again. She was just like really fucking scared. But she never did quit her love for fireworks, which I think no fucking Indian person can. And if you're listening to this episode, like, I truly hope you do yourself this favor and just go on YouTube and just look up like India Diwali, and you'll find up so many videos of people and like just look at the fucking fireworks, man. They're so cool. I'm telling you, as a person who lives in Canada, man, white people, y'all got some terrible fucking fireworks. I'm gonna be honest, so bad. They're so bad. I also don't realize why they're banned either. Like, I don't understand that part. Like, why? I don't get it. Like, shouldn't, in my mind, maybe it's just where I'm from, but if it's Christmas, let couple people just enjoy their fucking life and like just light up some fireworks in their driveway or something and like look at cool shit. Like, I don't understand. And since then, when I moved to Canada, I haven't really lit up a firework almost ever. Like, as far as I was concerned, it's banned in Canada. You can't fucking buy it anywhere. At least not that I knew of. So I never really reflected on fireworks. Until this year. That's right, people. So as I said on the previous episode, Diwali was on the same day as Halloween in this 2024. What do my parents do? See, there's this store, and in the most Indian fashion, it's an Indian-only store. Actually, that's such a terrible phrasing. I gotta take that back. It's not an Indian-only store that like no white people or any other race can enter. It's just a store that mostly has and only has Indian goods, like Indian fucking cuisine and dishes and frozen items and blah blah blah. And in the most Indian fashion, they were also had fireworks. I didn't know this shit. My parents, they go to the store to pick up like some like marinated meat that we can barbecue, that night, and they were selling fireworks for Diwali. And my dad's like, yo, Nav like fireworks, let's buy these. I was like, okay, let's do it. So this Halloween / Diwali in my driveway with my friend from college, who's one of the more whiter people I know, and basically kid has the most golden fucking hair of all time. Me and him lit the shit out of my driveway with fireworks. We had screamers or screechers, I think my dad called it. It just like makes a very loud noise. Sparklers, and we used this like small firework that just kind of like made really loud noise, but it had like shower of like multiple colors of light. And it was very nice to get back in touch with my roots and just light up some fucking fireworks. But I just want to say, I understand it was Halloween as well. So what I did is we actually lit them at like later in the evening, like 8 p.m. after no kids were coming by, at least not on my street. And a lot of the family members did come out of their homes and like they did walk by and they were like, oh, we saw you like lighting up fireworks and we just want to see it. So, I showed it to them and we lit it up for them. They were like, happy Diwali, and they were like, happy Diwali. And it was a very nice moment, and it was nice, and it reminded me of my childhood. And it also reminded me that at any moment I can get cops called on me because I'm literally just lighting up fireworks in my fucking driveway for like 30 fucking minutes straight. And my parents are like, yay. But it's like, I'm pretty sure this has to be illegal somewhere. Like, it just feels illegal. You know what I mean? But luckily, no cops were called. And I just want to say, you might be wondering, oh, Nav, like, you're lucky, cops were called. No, I'm not. Because, I had this shit covered. I had this covered. And it's not because I love the po-po. It's not that. The reason I'm pretty sure the cops were called, I was clean. Because if they weren't, they're like, sorry, you can't light up fireworks. In the most annoying fashion, I would have pulled the race card so hard. I would be like, sir, I understand, but, as an Indian person, as an immigrant, I'm just simply enjoying my festival. And in Canada, there's freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And I'm simply just enjoying my festival on my property in the most respectable and the least invasive time of all time. There's nothing going off. There's no public on my property. Nobody's being harmed. And I would be so surprised if, the popo was like, nah, we gotta shut that shit down. Like, I don't know. So, it was a great time, and no cops were called. But my friends were really weirded the fuck out that I had this shit complete planned out if the cops were called, and I had a whole speech ready that included freedom of expression, freedom of race, respect of religion, respect of different races, respect of immigration policies. Why the fuck did I have a speech ready for respecting immigrants and immigration policy if cops got called on me for lighting up fireworks? I don't know. I really don't know. But all I know is it was a great fucking time. But more importantly, it was a great time introducing my friend from college who lit up the fireworks with me. It was lovely to introduce him to my culture. He got to learn about Diwali, he got to learn about the religious backgrounds. He got to join my family on the prayers and eat some great fucking sweets. And he had a sick time. And as I near the end of this episode, I want to leave each and every one of you is that do yourself a favor and make a goddamn brown friend. Because that brown friend is going to give you so much cultural card. And one day he's going to invite you to light up fireworks with him on his driveway. And it's going to be probably one of the greatest moments of your life. And secondly, that brown friend of yours will also be hooking you up with great Indian sweets. And I just want to say, white people, you guys think you have the best sweets? I promise y'all don't. Y'all sweets are clapped, okay? They're so bad. Only thing you got is just different types of pies and different types of cakes. That's it. Stop it. Do yourself a favor. Get some help and go try some Indian desserts. I'm telling you, top tier. Listen to me, okay? And you'll be like, why should we listen to you, Nav? What do you know? Well, let me tell you. If you ever seen me, and as I've said on this podcast multiple times, I basically look like roly-poly or poster child of Pillsbury Doughboy. I know about food, okay? I know about fucking desserts. So do yourself a favor, try some Indian desserts, make an Indian friend, and wish one day you're invited to Diwali so you can enjoy a culture and light up some fucking fireworks like my friend did. And if you're ever lighting up fireworks, don't fucking get too close to it like my aunt and blow off your fucking eyebrows. Don't do that. Do not do that. But if you do that, I heard some people really like people without eyebrows. I'm just saying. Personally, Just saying, could be a new look, Could be a new look. But on that, I just want to say thank you all for listening. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll be back next week with another interesting episode with at least a story or two. And until then, make sure you follow the show's socials. Make sure you tell your grandma about it. Make sure you tell your grandpa about it. Make sure you tell all the people in your life about it. And if you haven't yet, give a listen to the previous episodes. I'll see you all next week. Thank you very much for listening. Hasta la vista. Bye-bye!